6 billion people in the world. If we're approaching 2 billion with our cell phones so far, you know, you kind of look at the rest of it, there's sort of a limited market there, just a few billion more. So we want to know what comes next. And we don't design consumer electronics devices. So we're not the people who are going to invent it. But we want to make sure that they use Sun technology in it. So we built a development environment that's this little gadget. This thing has a battery, a radio so these things can communicate with each other, and a bunch of sensors so it knows about the world around it and can control things in the world. And we're using this to try to get people inspired to build the next cool gadgets, and to do it using Sun technology. So the idea of this thing is, this is an example of a program that I wrote with my son back when he was 7 years old. He wanted to know what these little things that I work on are about, and so he said, you know, let's do a project, Daddy. And so over a weekend we wrote a project to use the accelerometer in here, which senses motion and can sense when I swing this, and these LEDs here to make letters. This is a sunspot. Okay? This was written in the attention span of a 7-year-old. Right? So we tried to make the development tools something that are approachable, so people who are used to programming on a keyboard, mouse, and screen, and this computer idea can start working with things that fit in the palm of their hand. We want to inspire them. We want them to think about stuff that lives in the world around you. We want them to invent the next cool thing. And we don't want just the hardcore geeks to do it. We want anybody who knows Java, which is, Java is a high-level programming language. It's not this embedded systems, get out your bit tweezers and write your code kind of stuff. This is much higher level stuff. And we're hoping that we can really help people to do something different. Now I've got...
What can I do with it? I don't understand.
Let me show you. So this thing is used for, and because I don't have very much time here, I'm already running late, I don't have the slides to show this, but instead I'll tell you. We're doing things like we're monitoring environments. There's a group in Panama that is monitoring the rainforest down there to look at the difference between what goes on in the canopy and what goes down on the floor, and see the impact of development around this particular Cocobolo Natural Reserve. There are people also doing monitoring things in Malawi, Africa, where they're looking at water usage there and trying to figure out there's some water supply problems there for getting clean water to the people there. But they're also used in things like what I have here, which this is an example of, unfortunately this wheel came off, so it won't be so impressive. This is a simple robot where the sunspot is the brain. I mean, the idea of a sunspot is that it's a platform for development. It doesn't do anything on its own. You can make it into this thing for using in a rainforest or using in a robot. This robot is made of basically some batteries, just AA batteries, and some servos like you get from a hobby shop for model airplanes and stuff, with wheels stuck on it, and a sunspot. There are some wires connecting these things together. There's no circuitry to design. There's no transistors, resistors, capacitors, any of that stuff. This is just some wires and those parts that I told you about, and a wheel that's falling off. And I've got a robot. This sunspot has some sensors. Both these sunspots have sensors in them, a light sensor, a temperature sensor, and that accelerometer that I told about earlier, where it can sense how much acceleration it's feeling. It can use that to sense gravity. And gravity, if I can sense gravity, that means that I can sense which way is down. And I can use that as a tilt sensor for this and send the message to that robot and make it drive around until the wheel falls off. Right? So I've got a little gesture-controlled robot here. Okay? And the thing to notice about this is a software project. Right? This is just connecting some wires to some little gadget here, and I've got this new robot that, see, I told you it would fall apart.